Hey guys, my name is Urban Phoenix and this is Drawing the Human Figure from Your Mind, lesson 155. Okay, so now before we begin to understand how to draw the hand, we'll just go through that same process that we did practically for all the muscles that we're doing, where after we put on the muscles and these pulley systems, we need to look at the planes of the hand, and of course then build that surface anatomy and look at all these details. Give the mind that special understanding it needs to about what it's supposed to be drawing, especially this area right here, this connection right here, this area right here, this area right here, this area right here, what happens over here, and then of course look at all the fingers, and we'll do that for the same thing for the palm of the hand. So I guess what we can do right now with this drawing is use it up a little bit and just erase what we put on there, and this should leave pretty much a good outline of all the muscles that we put in there. Just clean it up a little bit and look at the planes of the hand a little. Just understand from the top what's going on. Okay, so now what we'll do is so from these fingers, right? Let's just start out from this area right here. And I'll zoom this in a little bit more so you can see this. Okay, so let's just first understand a little bit about these curves here on these fingers. Let's just do like a contour drawing. We'll get to the bottom of this. Okay, so we know that basically that it's going to be kind of like straight over here from these areas here, and where these joints are, it's more of a slight bump that's going to take into account the fibers that we put into those connections. So we know that in these specific points we're going to get those special bumps over here, and it's not going to be obviously so schematic that if you get a bump here you're going to get that bump exactly over here, because we can see that with our hand it's balanced out. Like this is here, this might start over here a little, it's everyone's hand is going to be different a little bit, but the idea is basically the same here. So we know then this comes in here, and then when it hits about here, then it becomes the end of the finger. And here we can just start to put this in like this here. Let me erase this nail here. Put it in like this. So in the hand, we know that it has a slight angle going in this direction, right? The index finger, and it's going to be pretty much approximate. It's so slight, but we do know that the way the hand is, it kind of goes in this direction a little bit, depending on whose hand you look at. So here we'll just put in the nail now. So here we'll shorten up the nails a little bit and just basically understand their design over here. Okay, so what happens next is that this guy starts traveling up, meaning that on that bottom where that sheet is, you're going to get that mark here, right? Because you can see that even on your hand. when you look at this, you can see how this is right here. There's a cut here, then this goes up, right? So we know that right over here is going to be a cut over here, then there's going to be a cut here, right? And when the fingers are pretty close, the cut kind of travels from here over here, so it like becomes on an angle here. So that gives us that cut. And over here, we're going to know that right, there's a ditch here because the connection for the knuckles is all the way up here, and the skin is pretty much going to come out a little bit. So here we can kind of like shade it in a little bit over here, and over here these fingers are a little close, so it's going to be much more of a sharp curve over here like this. Okay, so there's a ditch in here. We'll see that. Kind of like this. Over here we know that, okay, because of that knuckle, see, we have to think of this in 3D here, so meaning that, show you my hand here, see that the bone is over here on top, and it's going to be coming out here, right? Then it drops down. See how this is? The bone sticks out over here. You can feel that bone, meaning that here we can specify that, right? We understand that there's the bone is going to be over here, and then over here from that knuckle we're going to start to get that part here, and then this is where the muscle starts. It doesn't start from here because it's connecting all the way from here, and that this bone is here, right? And it's and this is on top of the finger, and this muscle is obviously going to be starting from the middle. It doesn't start from the top. You first have to compensate for that muscle over there. Okay. So here we're going to get this muscle here. And usually, depending on how far the thumb is stretched out, you're pretty much going to get like a line over here, right? You can get a slight line depending on how tight this pull is on that thumb here. And then it's just going to go like this, and because it's on an angle, so meaning that we're saying that the hand is just floating in air in our drawing. It's not like this, right? So it's like floating in air like that. I'll just put that in here. And then that muscle from the bottom is connecting over here, so you're going to get those lines here. That's going to allow it to come here, right? So automatically these lines are making much more sense because we know this line is going and connecting underneath to the middle finger over there. So here you have that muscle over here. And we have to think of this in 3D here, meaning that you're going to get the bone over here, right? It's going to be like this, and then the thumb is going to be like so, coming out. So it comes out over here a little bit. Just like this. And the connection is over here, right? Because the nail has to stay away from that connection. So over here, in that just the basic understanding of surface anatomy is that we can put like a few lines over here, right, for that those folds in the skin, depending on how this, because this thumb is kind of a little up in our understanding over here. So here we also know about this bone area, right? So those wires are coming here, and we can specify a little bump over here, because this is usually sharp when it goes in that direction. So over here, we're going to be connecting the thumb. So when it connects here, it's going to have a slight bump, right? Because of how that bone structure was here, it's going to push this out a little. So just keep that in mind, that it has a slight nudge any way you look at it. So you have to think about that, this area here. So meaning that it's going to bump it up a little bit automatically, right? And then it's just going to connect like this. And of course, those wires that we put in here are now going to come in here like so. And it's going to be kind of like this. You'll see at least that angle here for that wire coming in. Okay, so notice where this wire is, right? Because it's up more where the on the top of the wrist area, and where this wrist is. If you erase this a little bit, so here's the bones for the ulna and the radius, and then here's the wrist, and then you're going to get these wires into a wristband over here, meaning that this connection over here is down here, it's not up here, right, for that wire over here. I'll shade it in a little bit. Just get that understanding here, where this connection is. Just keep that in mind. You're going to get that bone, then you're going to get it like this, and these wires are down here. Over here is we can just mark it out a little bit, that we understand that there's a slight bulge over here for that muscle, and it has that pulp on top. Okay, we'll keep continuing on and add this into the next lesson. Hope you join me for that. Thanks.